And we are live. Good evening, ladies.
Good
Good
evening.
How
evening.
are y'all doing? It's Wednesday.
Mhm.
Yes. Happy Wednesday.
Happy
Happy Wellness
Wellness Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Well,
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. So I'm checking to make sure I am live. And I am live on Facebook, and I'm going to change my privacy settings. But to y'all who are coming on, good evening. As you are coming on, please in the chat tell us where you're joining from, who you are, and tell us your best Wellness Wednesday tip. We need to know that Wellness Wednesday tip. What do you do on a Wellness Wednesday, or what do you do in general that you want to share with us that could help another sister or brother, depending on who's listening? So I'm going to introduce myself. I'll let my co-host guests introduce themselves. My name is Dr. Fiona. I am the founder of Black and Perry, where I help women over 40 with their midlife transition, especially when we are getting hot in here and we're thinking about what we're going to do about all the hot flashes and that transition to menopause. So that's the time when our bodies are changing and we don't know what to do and we need some guidance. So I help to manage that transition. Um, if you all do not know, I'm a registered dietitian, a professional trained plant-based chef, and a doctor of public health. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a member of the Atlanta Black Chamber, and I am super excited to have my co-host guests with me, fabulous ladies. Ladies, go ahead and tell them who y'all are.
All right. Well, it's Chai, like the tea, Matthias. I am the co-host of, not co-host, I am the co-chair of the Atlanta Black Chambers Health and Wellness Committee. I am also the owner and founder of Inside Out Health and Beauty, where we are improving the quality of life from the inside out through natural holistic modalities. My specialty is perinatal wellness. I help mothers get healthy before, during, and after pregnancy. And then we pivot into helping the entire family get healthy. So I love, love, love supporting families, love health and wellness. And I'm super excited about what we're doing this month to empower women to take care of themselves. And now I'm going to yield the floor to Dr. B.
yes. Awesome. I am so excited to be with this wonderful women of God, just doing mighty things in the community. So I am Dolapo Babalola. I am a triple board family, obesity, and lifestyle medicine physician. And I'm also the owner of Living at Your Finest Wellness, which is a membership based, holistic, and integrative direct primary care practice in Marietta, Georgia. I love to provide exceptional full spectrum from just primary care services using lifestyle modalities so that we can not just prevent diseases, but we can treat and in most cases reverse. So I'm really excited to be here because this is one of my favorite topics, just women wellness, just promoting it, and excited for the conversation that we're going to be having this evening.
Yes, listen, we are power dynamite, like all this here, the
Yes.
knowledge, the healing. God put something special together. And so I am excited also for the conversation. So, y'all, if you do not know, we are here to talk about an event that we are hosting as part of our Women's History Month celebration. But before we get there, we will ask you to put in the chat because we need to hear from you. What is one thing that you do to unwind and take care of yourself, whether or not you're a wellness professional? So you're watching replay live. What is one thing that you're doing to take care of yourself and unwind? And also let us know where you're joining us from. So ladies, I'm going to ask you all the same thing. One thing that you do to unwind and take good care of yourself as wellness professionals.
Mhm. So for me, I take ashwagandha.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that ashwagandha is like my thing, so I always lead with that, and that's just to keep my nervous system kind of regulated because I
Mhm.
have a high stress work,
Mhm.
but I also practice Pilates. and I run. So those are, and I sleep when I can, right? So all of those things mixed together is really important. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. Yes.
Nice.
Go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Nice.
My phone goes on do not disturb. I start to unwind at about 8, take me a nice hot bath, take my
Mm.
ashwagandha, right? And I read, I grab my little book and get in the bed. And before you know it, it's over with, right?
You have been unwound after all of that.
It is a routine. Do you hear me?
Nice.
So
Mhm.
yeah, self-care is really, really, really important to
Oh
me.
yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I'm a ashwagandha sister too. I love the little fancy drinks that I get. Sometimes I do them in my work with my workshops. We put them in nice fancy glasses and we sip our adaptogen drinks. Love me some
absolutely.
ashwagandha. Love it, love it. Dr. Bab, since you are our guest, I'll have you go and then I'll share my things.
Yes, yes, yes. I love hearing that, Pastor Achai. We need to run together. That's one of yours. I love to run as well. But in terms of what I do to unwind, oh my gosh, my favorite thing is just really stretching and breath work. It really helps to bring down my, so, the sympathetic nerve and all that fight or flight that I've done all day. So I really incorporate it in the morning, midday, and in the evening. So just intentional stretches with affirmation, which I find I do a lot of habit stacking, so I can put a lot in
Mhm.
together. So I do that, and then at night I love to do lavender is mine. No, so no, even though ashwagandha is great, but I just love that lavender essential oils. I put it behind, put it on my and the sniff, all that good stuff. So I do that in the evenings, and I couple that with the stretching and the breath work. So that really helps me tap into my rest and digest mode.
Love it, love it. So I'm not like y'all with the running yet. So I tried. My knee is kind of doing a little thing. So, but I will be behind y'all doing a little fast walk. I love to walk. Walking is one of those things that helps me to clear my mind. After a long day, I have a walking pad. So when I'm sitting for a long time because I work remotely, I'll get up, I'll dance on the walking pad, I'll walk on the walking pad, I'll take a little break and do that. Stretching also, I love to stretch. I do some Pilates, and I am a believer in the nap ministry. I have a strong nap
Love
ministry.
it.
I love to nap. So, yeah, yeah, I think we have some things in common, and then we have some
Yes.
things that we probably can see how it works for us. But
Work with each
routines are
other.
important, aren't they?
Lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
routines are important. So I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking to see if anybody has commented on their thing that they do to unwind and take care of themselves and also introducing themselves. So I don't see anything yet. So let's keep on going. Yes,
I
ma'am,
see
go on
somebody
ahead.
over here in the chat. It looks
Please go
like
ahead.
Hannah Benson. She's from New Martinsville, West Virginia.
Oh,
And she says that she likes to eat for her blood type. So that's pretty good.
okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So we're taking good care of ourselves, our nutrition, our stress management, our physical activity. What else did we talk about? Did I miss anything?
I think you covered it. Yeah.
Covered it. Sleep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very
Sleep.
good. Very good. So, just in case you're joining, we are members of the Atlanta Black Chamber. We have our illustrious co-chair with us, Miss Chai Matthias. And so we are talking today about our Flourish and Thrive event that we're having. It's a wellness experience for wellness professionals. It's happening next Saturday, 10
Yes.
to 4, right? Yes,
Yeah.
10 to 4 at Studio House Atlanta. And we need you all to get some tickets and come on
Hmm.
down. So I'm going to put the link in the chat in a few minutes. But we will continue to talk about it and also have our conversation. So tonight, what are we talking about, ladies? We're talking about why women in wellness need a wellness escape like the one we have created.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. So let's get to our conversation. So Dr. Babs is on, like, I don't want to say hot seat. She's on the throne tonight. She's our guest. She's one of our one of our colleagues in the Atlanta Black Chamber Health and Wellness Committee. And she will be one of the providers who will be at the event on Saturday, next Saturday. And so we want to make sure that she gets her flowers and she gets her crown and she shares about her business. So, Dr. Babs, tell us about your business, a little bit about your wellness journey. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. Yes, I love to share about my wellness journey because, I mean, you have to have experienced it for you to really see the power of having a wellness escape. Because I was one of those people, even though, yes, I'm a medical doctor, I take care of patients and I love to do it. I find it as the greatest honor that God has placed on my heart. But I didn't realize that I also needed to take time for myself. I was hustling and bustling, a mother, a wife, a doctor, and I neglected myself. And very quickly, that turned into chronic disease in form of fatigue. I had insomnia, also had blood pressure problems. I mean, for me now to say that it wasn't just food that led to my blood pressure problems 16 years ago, it was mainly stress. And so a wellness escape is so important for busy professionals because we cannot fill out of an empty cup, right? And I love to actually have this quote right by my bedside because it reminds me of that journey that I took 16 years ago. And I don't want to go back there. I'd had to learn. As a matter of fact, the emergency room doctor that sat by my bedside after running all the tests, MRI, everything, I was almost having a brain bleed because my blood pressure was 220 over 120 because I didn't want to slow down. Didn't want to slow down. I was like, I can do all the things. I can hustle, bustle. He said, whatever is stressing you out, you have to learn to de-stress. And that was when I had to gradually learn how to escape, fill my own cup. So this says self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you. And does that sound familiar? We all know it. We're very quickly as women, we're nurturers. We want to always give. And then we do that at the expense of our own health. And so for me, I had to learn how to de-stress. And gradually I was able to get off blood pressure medicines. I was able to, take time for myself. And of course, it took some time. And that wellness escape is something that I love to teach. We don't want to wait to when we're highly stressed before we come down. We want to make it a continuous thing, right? It's a journey. It's continuous. It's not a destination. You don't arrive there and say, oh, I'm all good. I don't have to take time for myself. So that is why a holistic approach to stress management. We already shared, that was the great question that came out, that what do we do on a daily basis? You imagine your tank completely empty. How long does it take to fill it back up? It takes longer, right? But if it was just like halfway and then you fill it up instead of going all the way down. So that is why we're hosting this program for wellness professionals. Please let us stop the merry-go-round and the roller coaster. We really need to take time to just sit, like Pastor Chai said, just enjoy the experience, be fed. And so that is why it's important. In my practice, 90% of chronic diseases is due to stress. And a lot of times things that we're worried about, 90% of it doesn't even occur, right? So we need to be in that space where we use a holistic approach, spirit, soul, and body to address these stressors in our lives.
Oh,
That's
fantastic. Go ahead. Go ahead,
mhm.
Sean.
Yeah, I was going to chime in there because Dr. B, we both had the same experience. My blood pressure was 238 over 135.
Mm,
And I was walking around and felt fine.
yeah.
So they call it the silent killer, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm walking around, I'm working, high stress job. I was at an event. Emory St. John's Creek had their cardiology table set up. I was actually at a trade show with a client,
Mm,
and I heard the Holy Spirit just kind of tap on my shoulder and say, hey, go get your blood pressure checked. And I went over, got my blood pressure checked, and they were like, ma'am, are you feeling okay? And I was like, oh, yeah, I feel fine. They were like, well, let me check the other arm. So they
oh,
checked the other arm, and they're like, ma'am, you sure you having it? Oh, you sure you're okay? No headaches? I'm like, no, I'm fine. They're like, well, we're sending you to the emergency room.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, why? They told me what my blood pressure was. I went to the emergency room. Of course, they put me on the blood pressure medicine and it started dropping and I started
Mm,
feeling
days that you noticed the
Horrible.
difference.
I was dizzy. I was lightheaded. I don't even think they should have let me drive home that night. To this day, I don't know how I got home,
Yeah.
because the way I felt as my
Mm,
blood pressure started coming down, of course, they put me on blood pressure meds. And then I got with my naturopathic doctor.
yes.
And I said, hey, I don't want to be on BP
Mhm.
meds for the rest of my life. That will affect my liver. Like I already knew, right?
Right,
And so
right.
she said, let's regulate, let it regulate first. Once it's
Yes.
regulated, then we'll wean you
Yeah,
off.
paper
So
you
I
want.
wanted to chime in there just to tell anybody out there,
Yes.
if you're on blood pressure medicine, it is possible to wean you off of the blood pressure
Mhm.
medicine with
Mhm.
a holistic practitioner, with a holistic functional medicine practitioner. It
Yeah.
is possible. My blood
Oh,
pressure is absolutely perfect now. It is 120/80, and I no longer take blood pressure meds. It did take some time. It
mhm,
took a
mhm.
holistic approach. It wasn't just, reducing my stress, but it was getting sleep. It was, letting go of some clients that were very stressful. Like
Yeah.
I had to offboard people, offload, right?
Yeah.
I had to change my lifestyle. I had to lose weight. That's why I actually started running, right?
Right.
And so I had to be very intentional in order
Mhm.
for my body to begin to regulate itself, change my diet, all of these things. So it requires accountability. So the
Oh,
reason I'm stopping here in this moment is you can't do it on your own.
yeah.
You need a coach, you need a practitioner to kind of help navigate you through getting off that medicine, and it is possible. So I just want
Yeah.
to come in on that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so important. In your case, it was silent, but thank God you listened to the Holy Spirit. Now,
Right.
mine, for the last 4 days before I checked, I had the worst headache ever. And I had just had a baby. So I thought, oh, it's just sleep deprivation. I'll be fine. And this is me still pulling through, having it felt like a hammer was hitting against my head. And I was like, but the Holy Spirit did the same thing. You don't have blood pressure problems, never had it during pregnancy, but what if? It's the blood pressure. And I was like, okay. I went next door, asked my husband to hold the baby, 220 over 120. And that I started crying and I was like, oh, this is high. This is what was leading to my headaches for 4 days. So again, as was already mentioned, you can taper off those medications, but it takes a holistic approach. Saying that, yeah, I don't want to be on blood pressure medicines, but not making that exchange, you're still in that high level stress environment. It's not going to change because high stress is going to increase your cortisol, and cortisol, even though it's a good stress, but if it stays high continuously, it's damaging your vessels. So that's why we need this experience, right, for women to come together, calm down, relax, enjoy each other's company. Social connection is powerful. That is longevity, and it promotes health and wellness, right? So that's why we need this together. You need the accountability, you need the support system.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. So we heard testimonies, and I could give
Mm,
my own. When I was working as a dietitian, it's been a number of years, but between being an educator and then working as a clinician, in both cases, I found myself in burnout.
mm,
I found myself, especially being an educator, you would think like as an educator, I was actually running a dietetics program at that institution, helping future dietitians to become on their pathway. And I remember all the classes I was teaching and the grading and directing the program and the stress working, 12-hour days, trying to get things together. And the stress was up to here. I don't know. I never went to figure out, like if there was anything wrong with blood pressure per se, but I know I had started gaining a lot of weight.
mm,
I had started having a lot of joint pains. And so for me, that was a turning point. That's when I actually left my academic job at the time
mm,
to go do some entrepreneurship because that gave me some flexibility. And since then, I've held on to the entrepreneurship piece. But that's a
mm.
different story because we know as entrepreneurs, that is also high stress. And
Yeah.
trying to navigate that is something. And so maybe someone can relate to that, the
Mm,
transition between having a traditional job to going
mm,
into entrepreneurship. And one of my business coach always says, be careful that you don't trade one thing for the other
mm. Yeah.
because that can quickly happen. So there's need for not only when we're in per se traditional roles as full-time employees, but when we are running our own businesses and we have our own enterprises, and even when we're consultants in the wellness space,
Right.
we still need,
Mm-hmm.
especially because there's no lunch time, there's no lunch break, right? There's nobody regulating your time. You could go
Yeah.
from sun up to sunset, right?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, a business owner, you could drive
Mm-hmm.
yourself, you could drive your team, which is not good for productivity and well-being overall. So
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you are listening, you're a
Yes.
business owner, you're an entrepreneur, um, you're going to need this too. And even if you're not in the Atlanta area,
Mm-hmm.
please take some time for yourself as a wellness practitioner in your business. Go ahead, take some time for yourself. But if you're in the Atlanta area, we need you guys to come spend some time with us. We know sometimes that entrepreneurship and business ownership can be isolating and lonely, right? There's that emotional component besides the physical component of running your body all day long, not eating, not stopping, just running, running, running. You need that Saturday. You need to come and hang out with us that Saturday and get what you need. So, we are having a powerful conversation. I wanted to reset the conversation just in case anyone is joining. So, we are members of the Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce. We have myself and Dr. Babs, who are members of the Health and Wellness Committee. We have Chai, who is our co chair for that committee. And we are here talking about why we need to take good care of ourselves as women in wellness. It's Women's History Month, and we
Yeah.
cannot keep making history if we are not well. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. But what we also want to share with you is that we have an event coming up. So now that you know what's going on, you just got on, you know what's going on, we will continue the conversation. So, Dr. Babs, do you have any additional things that you'd like to add?
Yes. So additional support, certainly we've already said quite a bit, is identifying what those triggers are. We need to know, and let's just keep it real and be honest with ourselves, right? The only person that you can't lie to is yourself. If you just know you're not feeling right, whether you're a woman of God and you're a wellness, let's just keep it real. Even God, he rested, didn't he? He rested on the 7th day. So what is it with, we just feel like we just have to keep going and going and going. Oh, we think I've had this thought before. I don't have it anymore, thank God, where I feel like self-care is selfish. I'm like, no, it's not. God wants us to do it. If you're a woman of faith, he needs us to rest. And so the information I'm trying to convey here is that self-care is not selfish. We have to be intentional about what those triggers are. I knew what my triggers are. I felt that life needed to be perfect. It all has to be fixed, and if it's not the way that it's always been, then it's hopeless. So I had to learn that there's seasons and changes, and I need to adapt to changes in life. So that, just knowing that, helped me to reduce my stress levels. So identifying what the triggers are. And then secondly, if you need that support, whatever that looks like, when I got back from the hospital that evening and I was on a bunch of blood pressure medicine, I had to talk to my husband. My kids were younger. That was the day that everybody learned to do their own laundry. That was the day I was like, listen, teamwork is the dream work. You cannot run mommy down
Yes.
and then she dies. And then what are you left with? I make fun to this day with my husband. I was like, okay, you don't want to be left, with little kids to take care of, and mom is gone because you've worked. And and the truth of the matter is, I never really asked for help because I would do everything, and they were like, oh, she's doing it, let her do it. But the moment they knew that this is helping you be a better person, you help mom and you help yourself. Everybody was on board. I mean, this was how many years ago? Everybody now does their own laundry, including my husband, because I just can't do everything. It's impossible, right? So ask for help. don't be afraid to ask for that help. Whatever it is, there's support out there. When I got back from the hospital, in addition to talking to my husband and the kids that were older to understand, I reached out to a church member and I told them, I cannot shake this blood pressure. It's not improving. I'm on 3 blood pressure medicines. I need to walk for my mental health. And she couldn't drive, but she was willing to take care of my baby while I came to her. I went to her subdivision, dropped the child with her, and I just walked in her neighborhood. And I promise you, in 3 months thereabout, during my maternity leave, that was all I did. I actually just started journaling. So it was a brain dump for me. So the perfection world that I wanted and I craved so much for, because I was walking, I was relieving stress, and I was journaling, it helped to decrease all that stress. And before I knew it, the blood pressure was better, improved, and I was able to get off those medicines. So 2 key things I'm stressing here: understand what those triggers are. Pastor Chai already said, if it's a job, if you need whatever it is, just figure out what the triggers are, and then ask for support. And this wellness escape that we're hosting, the experience, it's a great one for you to come out and hear from others. Sometimes we feel like I'm all alone. There's nobody else going through what I'm going through. But when you hear other people's story, just being in the midst of my dear sisters, I'm already feeling empowered, because we love on each other. We understand that we're not in this world alone. And so come for this wellness escape program here. Let's hear from each other. Let's find ways to figure out life together and decrease that stress. I think that's the key thing. Again, 2 types of stress: acute stress, which we all need, but we don't need to stay in that state of acute stress all day long. We need it to taper off when we're about to sleep. That's why I love my sisters that love to sleep. I'm still working on that. I need to be in bed by 10:30, 11. But that also decreases your cortisol, right? And then when you wake up, your melatonin is down. So I talk a lot about things that you can do to manage your stress and certainly promote optimal well-being overall.
Fantastic, fantastic. We have a comment that I wanted to highlight from LinkedIn. So Lindsay Davis, who is in the femtech space, her comment is this: this resonates as among femtech, a femtech association in Asia members, we often speak about how the founders taking care of women's health through femtech solutions often don't have time to take care of their own health because entrepreneurship is demanding. I'm interested in hearing more about the integration of technology, platforms, apps, etc., used alongside coaching and diet. This is a great discussion and very important. Absolutely, absolutely. So, you ladies, any of you incorporate apps and different tech approaches to your wellness and self care? I do.
Yeah, I have a few of them. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head right now. But if you're an Apple user, that tracks your sleep pattern. If you've got an Apple Watch, it also tracks like your blood pressure, and it tracks when you need to sit and when you need to stand. And there's another app that tracks like my nutrition to make sure that I'm getting everything that I need. And I use another app when I travel, especially during the winter, where I actually work out indoors, that allows me to do a full workout inside. So I'd be open to kind of discussing how we can maybe streamline and create an app that does it all, right?
Right.
That's like this spirit, soul, and body connection.
Yeah.
Like I would be super open to having that conversation, because I think integrating technology into health and wellness is an important conversation. Even in my work as a practitioner, I've partnered with another wellness practitioner that uses nanotechnology in the wellness practice to help people regulate their health and wellness needs. And a lot of times we don't know that technology is available to us. And so like the pulse bed, right? Things like that, just where your body is actually regulating while you lay down, and it puts you to sleep in about 5 minutes. But literally your body is regulating as you lay on this pulse bed. And we've got the pulse chair, the lymphatic massage, things like that, right? So just making sure that your lymph nodes are being flushed out continuously. So I'm super open to having conversations. So definitely, Lindsay, reach out to us, because this is definitely something worth having a conversation about. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Personally, for me, I do a lot with my mental health because of going between the entrepreneurship and still working full time. So, believe it or not, I use ChatGPT between therapy to help me process things, and ChatGPT is really good.
Nice.
So, there
Hmm.
was another one. It's called Uper. It's the same sort of chat box that will help you process and do some cognitive behavioral therapy and some other modalities when you are stressed and you just need someone to talk to, you need to decompress, and you're in the moment and you're not thinking about ways that you can decompress. It really helps. It just talks to you like a person. So it's
Nice.
very interesting. And then in my work with the menopause, I do share with women some of the apps that are available in terms of, tracking their eating, their menstrual patterns and those kind of things. In the femtech world, I'm working on trying to get a femtech device developed for Black women in menopause specifically with that cultural piece. But for now, also, I'm definitely interested in talking some more about that. And if we have vendors, people who are interested in being
Yeah.
vendors, and you own some sort of wellness tech,
Mm, yes.
right? We would love to have you at the event. You can do a
Mm,
demo.
yes.
The ladies would love to learn more about what it is you do. So if you are a wellness tech business owner, and your product, your service is going to be something that the women, so we're doing women in wellness for women, that's the event.
Hmm.
So if it's going to be in alignment with what we are doing, we're asking you to reach out to Chai directly, and Chai, you can drop in the chat whichever chat you'd like, or several chats for them to get in touch with you, so that they can talk about bringing their product or service to the event.
Yes, very good. If I could add, so and thanks for sharing about the chat GPT. I had no idea, so I'm definitely going to check that out. But things that I use the app called Cam. You guys probably, the same
Mhm.
supplement comes. So I use that. I've tracked my sleep using the Aura Ring, with the Aura Ring, and that helped to kind of so I do a lot of what we call restorative winding down so that my sleep is optimal. So I use the Aura Ring for that. And that gave me some data because I'm data driven. I want to see, okay, what I've done, has it improved the different cycles of my sleep? And so that was very helpful. At the practice, I do a lot of breath work with my patients. So we just do, just series of breath work. There's several types. There's the box breathing. The one that I love the most is the 478 with a hum. And so I do that, and that really just there's an app for it, but because I've mastered it, I just use that. I love a lot of soft music. I do what we call mindful moments with a doc, and that's just where we're just doing what we call meditation, right? So it's just spiritual meditation, but we're doing like a scanning from head to toe, and there are apps for those. So just different things that help you tap into your parasympathetic mode, which is the rest and digest. So those are some of the things that come with apps that I've used both for myself as well as my patients at the practice.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have had a really, really good conversation about why we women in wellness need to rest.
Yes.
We shared some of our personal stories. We shared what we do, our journey. Our journeys are by no far perfect, right? It's a work in progress. And someone mentioned it, every time you transition, right? I think it was Dr. Babs, every time you transition, then there goes the routine. You have to start over again and find things that work. One of the things that I speak to women about over 40 is that this is not that. So before, when you were 20, the body, the brain, the entire thing, the beauty that is you worked
Mm,
differently than when you hit
mm,
40 and above. And I see
mm.
everybody chatting. We could have a
Yeah.
whole not a conversation about that.
This is not that. That is good.
This is not that. So 20-year-old fine Fiona is not 47-year-old fine Fiona. I own it now, but I can't
Mm.
do things the same way. And so we want to make sure that we're thinking about all of those things, whether it's a job transition, life stage, all of the things, that we are
Mhm.
putting all of that into our health and wellness when we're coming through our journeys. And we're being kind to ourselves, right?
Mhm.
When
Grace,
things
give
do not
yourselves
work,
grace. Mhm.
right? And we keep trying so that we can streamline our wellness routine. So,
Mhm.
anything before we switch gears to talking about our event? Chai, Dr. Babs, anything else?
No, I think this has been amazing.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
very
been
good.
fabulous.
So, visionary, Chai. I had this vision about this event that we're having next Saturday, Studio House Atlanta, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. We need to see you. But now I'm going to ask Chai to talk about the event, talk about some of the things
Mhm.
that will be happening. By the way, the link is in the chat, so y'all
Yes.
have no excuse. Get to getting and buy your tickets. Chai, go ahead.
Yes, yes. So Flourish and Thrive again is a wellness experience, and that's very key. It's an experience curated by wellness practitioners for women in wellness. Now, if you're not in wellness and you're just saying, hey, I just need to be around women and I want to be in this space and I want to try some of these amazing modalities, you can come too. You can come too, right? But it is so important that you stop and take a moment to put your mask on first. That is what we keep saying. We cannot continue to pour from an empty cup. We cannot continue to go on the way we used to. We just exited a heart month. Taking care of your heart is very essential, making sure that you're taking a moment to release.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just go, 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 and we have to be the strong woman all the time. We're the wife, we're the mother, we're the leader, we're the business owner. But when do you just take a moment to just be? And most women, the only time they stop is when they sleep. But again, you wake up and you do it all over again. So we wanted to create something where you literally could just be. So when you show up, please don't be coming dressed to the nines. Don't do that. Have on your athleisure wear, okay? Be comfortable, be cozy. We're going to have
Mm.
amazing spaces where we're going to be able to mix, mingle. We're going to have hands-on activities, sensory activities. We're going to have food. We're going to have drink. We're going to have physical activities. We're going to have wellness talk. We're going to have sister girl time. We're going to have journaling. We're going to have sound rooms where you can just lay out and just lay on your mat. And you don't have to do nothing but lay there. If you just want to lay there all day, guess
Mm.
what? With your journal, you can do that. So we've curated a space where you can just come and be. We also have private vendors where you can actually get private wellness services. So massage therapy, reflexology, manis, pedis, facials, all the things that ladies love, right? Is
Mhm.
going to be in the house. And today I just spoke with a practitioner who does trauma release massage therapy. And
Mm.
I think that is so amazing. And so
Oh,
she's also going to be in the building. So if you're dealing with any type of trauma in your body and you're having a hard time releasing that trauma, we'll have somebody in the house that'll be able to literally help you release that from your body.
yeah.
Why? Because the body keeps the score. That's a
Mhm.
whole nother conversation for a
Mhm.
whole nother day, but
Mhm.
you gotta release it. If you
Mhm.
don't release it, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
it's gonna show up and it's gonna show up at the wrong time. So
Mhm.
we want you to come out. We want you to enjoy a day of respite, renewal, transformation, connection. We're building an amazing community of women who really, really do love each other.
Yes.
It's time out for building in our silos. It's time for
Mm.
us to come together to hold each other up. It's a whole lot going on out here in these streets. And so
Mm.
we've got to build a solid community that we can hold each other accountable, but also support each other as we're navigating through tough transitions. And so that is what Flourish and Thrive is all about.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Babs, you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just pumped up. I mean, with all of that, who doesn't want to be a part of it? I was just pumped up. I was like, okay, let's get it. Let's get it done.
Dr. Bab is like, I want to register. Can I register? What do I register?
With all of that, who is going to miss out? Yeah, no, I'm just pumped. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, okay, all right. So as we are wrapping it up, I love it. Love the energy, and I too want to say I feel the same way. The more we start talking about it, the more we get together and work as a unit in our
Mhm.
committee, is the more empowered I feel. Not just for this, but for my
Yeah.
own work that I
Yeah.
do with women in menopause. So I am so excited. It's really really good to collaborate with you all. And
Yeah.
as we are wrapping it up, do you all have any parting words that you want to leave, share?
Over to me. Yeah, well, parting words. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for giving me this beautiful opportunity to just share about the practice and to be a part of this women wellness experience. I just want to encourage everyone out there. Please come. You know, you're in the Atlanta area. Come, and the most important thing is, you know, even after you come, let us make this a continuous lifestyle, right? So it's not about you don't have an hour to give. If it's just 5 minutes, just sit still, breathe, write down your thoughts, just do something for you, you know. And I've been saying this for a while, and I want to end by saying this, that we need to schedule our priority and not prioritize our schedule. Okay, so schedule our priority. If my priority is that I have to show up for me and I can help others, that's what I should schedule, and not just not prioritize your schedule. Because if you just have, oh yeah, I have the schedule, I have all this to do thing, but then you don't put yourself in it as a priority, we will always leave ourselves for last. So that's my pathing word. And I wish you all the very best in this journey of life. And I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you at the event.
Absolutely. You had a mic drop moment. Love it.
That was definitely a
Chai.
mic drop. Yeah, definitely a mic drop. And my last words would be, if nothing else, take the time to just breathe. And I love to teach people how to do the take five breathing techniques.
Mhm.
You set your timer for 5 minutes, silence all the noise just for a minute, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, release it slowly. And each time that you do that in the 5 minutes, you'll find that you're able to take in more air into your diaphragm. You'll find that your body is regulating and that you're actually slowing down and you're actually relaxing. You'll actually feel your body kind of like going, woo, right? Because a lot of times we're not getting enough oxygen to our brain, right? And so taking 5 minutes every day or every moment you feel anxiety or stress in your body to just breathe does the body a
Yeah.
world of good. So just breathe, and we'll see you on March 15th.
So
Take care, y'all. Have a good night.
thank you. Good night.